Guys, we are getting dangerously close to 2008 levels of active listings in Southwest Florida. If you take a look at Charlotte County, we have 3,233 homes on the market. You would have to go back 15 years. 15 years to March of 2009 to have that many homes listed. And if we go back just a few more months, in November of 08, it was 3,500 homes. We are at 32 and change. This is getting very dangerously close to GFC levels of inventory on the market here. And now with the two hurricanes back to back, all the other challenges we're facing in the region, this number is going to go up. We're coming into a very, very strong listing season. You guys know there's a lot of people that are leaving the area, leaving the state. We're going to get a lot of listings on here after the first of the year. This could easily, by February at the latest, be pushed over 2008 levels of inventory. It's going to be on par with it. I think it's almost a certainty at this point. Unless things change very rapidly, I cannot see how this will not be inevitable, and that is blowing me away. Welcome back, guys. So it is once again day to day. I just got the most recent housing stats for the entire state of Florida from the Florida Association of Realtors. This is going to cover single-family homes. I'm going to leave condos for a separate video, condos and townhomes, because they are a mess, quite frankly. As I'm sure you guys know, it's not going to surprise anyone here. So I'm going to focus statewide, and then I'm going to look up and down the Southwest region, starting with Tampa, kind of go through all the single-family sales, what's changing from the previous fall to this fall, since now we're through November. We're almost at the end of the year here. We're about to come into prime listing season. So this is a great refresher to see what kind of priming is going on for inventory. What can we expect to see in these areas come January, as we know it's going to go up? And what do the sales numbers and overall pricing look like heading into 2025? Now, I'm going to run through this data pretty quickly. As you guys know, I have a newborn, so I'm a little sleep deprived, and he's down for right now. So we'll see if he stays that way. I'm on a timer here. But I do ask, if you guys find value in this content, if you could hit that subscribe button, maybe consider pinging that notification bell or considering a membership. It helps the channel immensely. If not, thank you guys for being here, and I hope you find some sort of useful information in this video. Without further ado, let's kick it off. All right, guys, so kicking it off for single-family homes, this is statewide. Sales dropped 3.5% from the previous November, which is not that big of a jump. It's still substantial, but we had the 10% drop in October from the previous year. Now, we did have hurricanes mixed in there, but this is statewide. This is not just Southwest Florida. We saw a huge sales drop in October, was not as severe as compared to the previous November. Paid in cash dropping down 16%. I expect that may increase statewide here in the coming spring, not just from residents of other states selling their homes and buying cash here, but the stocks have been killing it. Crypto's been killing it until recently. We had a little, we had a pretty big correction right there, but nothing that would put us back like a month, where we historically were. So I do anticipate cash sales to pick up. Median sales price taking a very slight tick down at 0.6% year over year. This is sort of the stabilization that I think is going to start occurring statewide. Still going to cost you about $410,000 median anywhere in the state to buy a home. That's down $3,000 from the previous year, but average price up 3.4%, sitting at $584,000. Now, these are the big indicators that kind of show where's the market going. An increase of 62% in how long it takes you to get a contract on your home statewide. Went from 29 days to 47 days. Make no mistake, 47 days is still very quick, but even going from 29 to 41, a 62% increase is going to be shocking for some sellers this season who expect maybe to put things on the market and then get multiple offers. It's most likely not going to happen in a lot of areas of the state this season, I don't feel. Median time to sale also increasing 25%. New pending sales did take a jump. They're up 12% from last year, and total pending inventory is up 1.1%. So we're seeing a little stronger fall in Florida this year than we did last year. Is that because things have kind of stabilized a little bit? Is that because there's more to choose from because our month's supply of inventory is up here, 29.7%? Our total active listings, wow, 26.9% increase, guys. Finally going over 100,000 homes listed in the state of Florida. We have not, that's a milestone. We haven't had that many houses listed here in quite a while. And I'll take you to another chart here, kind of show you that illustrated 4.8 months supply of inventory. So statewide, month supply of inventory and listings are continuing to tick up as we're getting into the spring selling season here. I'm going to stop you here quickly on the cash sales for 21 and 22. You can see they were sky high. They have since declined each subsequent year. That's a horrible line. I'm sorry. You guys know my lines are bad. I just can't with this mouse, but they're getting back to pre-pandemic levels of what we normally have for cash purchases. Median sales price, pretty stable here for the past 2 years. This is the stabilization I was talking about in my previous video with my predictions for 25. I think it's going to stay the same. You can see 410,000 was our median sales price, but we've been here before. 410,000 was that was our median sales price in September, and again back here in December of last year. So really kind of just flatlining for the median sales price. Let's take a look at average for single-family homes statewide. I would say based on the given month, mostly the same here. From 22 to 24, we're not seeing any sort of big rocket ship increases like we did here in the prior years. We're just kind of flatlining statewide for single-family homes with the growing inventory that we have. Well, let me head down to that before I talk about that. So this is our inventory of active listings. As you can see, at 100,000 homes on the market currently as of November, that is 20,000 higher than we saw before the pandemic in 2022. You can see, here's the huge inventory glut of everybody coming here, and it's slowly been building up over the last 2 years. It takes a while for this to happen, guys, but where we are now, I think stabilization is going to be the name of the game for 2025, but potentially price declines if this inventory keeps increasing, which I suspect it's going to because we're coming in to our high selling season. Why I feel that way is because as inventory is increasing, you can see these are our new pending sales. These are our new homes going under contract. They have been steadily declining every season, year over year. And we do get into this trend where they're going to have a lot of pending sales January, February, March. Usually April, and then we start trailing off, but it's never reaching the peak of the previous year again. It's very, very slight, but it's a trend. So I think with less pending sales, that's going to continue. We're going to see higher inventory on the market for the state as a whole. And that is reflected in the month's supply of inventory, which is basically a gauge of demand. Month's supply is just, we take the entire number of active listings in the state and we divide them by the average number of sales. We say if no other homes come on the market, how many months will it take to get rid of these 100,000 houses? It's going to be 4.8 months. When that number goes to 6, the market is considered balanced. If it goes over 6, it is in buyer's favor. If it's under 6, technically it's in seller's favor. But you can see we've been in a seller's market here for quite some time. Even in 2020, before the pandemic, we were in a seller's market in Florida with only 3 months of inventory, but we're back almost to 5. So we're well over 2020 numbers. So if this number continues to increase, that's when price declines are going to be inevitable. And you're going to see the areas I go into are much higher than 4.8 months. You guys, if you've been watching the channel, you kind of already know that. So let's start heading down the southwest coast. Let's start off with Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, MSA. This is a very broad area. It's going to be specific if you dive down into other locations here, guys, but the video will be 3 hours long if I do that. I am going to dive into some locations, predominantly Northport, but we'll take a look at that in a minute. So closed sales here down 4.2%, echoing the rest of the state. Median sales price down 1%, average sales price down 3.3%. I have not really seen the sales price fall year over year here in the past 2 years. So this is interesting to start seeing this happening. They are also experiencing an uptick in median days to contract, much like the rest of the state. Tampa's kind of been like the hottest market in the southwest region. You couldn't touch this thing. And all things considered, their pending inventory is up 21%. Their active listings are up 26%, so that's almost getting eaten away. They're adding 26% listings, but they're selling 21% more homes, which will bring you to a tighter supply there in Tampa at 3.6 months. That's much lower than the state as a whole for their supply for single-family homes. However, that is still up 33% from the previous year. It was only 2.7 last November, and that's sort of what we saw in the rest of Southwest Florida. Even down in Sarasota, Charlotte, Lee counties, there was times when months of inventory was 2.7, 2 months, and then all of a sudden, as you guys will see, we're up in the 7s. So this can switch quickly, but this is still a tight market, and it's surprising to me to see only 3.6 months of supply, yet see price declines, but I have to wonder, are the hurricane-damaged homes dragging that down as well? So as you guys can see, inventory of active listings in Tampa, definitely back over 2020 levels, pre-pandemic levels here, sitting at probably about a 2,000 home gap. Month supply of inventory following that trend as well. But look at that. In 2020, even before the madness happened, they only had 2 months of inventory. Tampa's just always been a hot market. So this is actually a pretty considerable slowdown for them. This is not something they've seen in the better part of a decade down there. And we're going to keep heading south, guys. Now in Sarasota County, 19% decrease in closed sales year over year. That is enormous. That's a huge drop. It's one of the biggest ones we've seen. Generally, I don't see that in Sarasota. The hurricane may have had some impact on that. I'm going to say, I mean, there's no way around it. The two hurricanes, 20% drop is very big just to come out of nowhere. They don't usually see declines like that. So slight dip in median sales price, down 2%, sitting at 490,000. Your average is at 708,000. That's actually a 7.3% increase. But if you guys recall from my data video last month, a couple of condos or a couple of high-end homes can really skew Sarasota County's numbers. I think they had a 100% increase on the average sales price in the condos, and when we dove into it, it was one brand new condo complex that was selling. Every condo was like $5 to $20 million, and they sold them all out. So that's why I try to stick with median. Median time to contract skyrocketing here in Sarasota, up 111%, going to 53 days. Again, still not a very long time, but a huge jump as compared to last November. So that's interesting as we're heading into prime selling season. New pending sales up from the year before 12%, so that's strong, but total pending inventory down. So the total number of homes under contract is lower than it was this time of year. New pending sales is how many homes did they put under contract this November as compared to last November, whereas pending inventory is what is the total number of homes under contract they could have went under contract September, October, August. So they just tally that up. Inventory of active listings taking a massive jump, even with the just coming off the two hurricanes. Almost a 19% increase there, going from 2,700 homes to 3,220. Now, this is big for Sarasota, guys. Their months of inventory jumped up 20% to hit 5.2 months. They've had kind of a hot market. Last year, Sarasota County went into selling season with much less than that. We'll go down and take a look. 5.2, they have hit that before, but you're getting dangerously close there to what they consider a balanced market. I'd argue it's a buyer's market when that gets close to 6. Median sales price slightly down, as we mentioned in my previous video, from the peak. Their peak, according to the MLS numbers, was right around here, down about 8% from the all-time high, but that was very close to 2022. So slight price declines, and the average is, kind of the same. You can see the average popped here for the all-time high, much higher than 2022 in Sarasota County, and now they're kind of on the downswing here, but it looks like they bumped up for November. Inventory of active listings solidly over 2020 levels here in Sarasota County. Now, you guys are seeing a trend statewide and here. Again, this is not how it is across every area, but I've got to look at the larger picture and then narrow it down to the areas I cover. So they are back to pre-pandemic levels of inventory. They have been for a few months. They dipped here for a little bit over the summer. They had a strong summer, but it's coming back. Months supply of inventory, 5.2, has not been this high since last March. So last November, it was down here by 4 months. We're going to start the season in Sarasota County with quite a bit more month supply of inventory, quite a bit more listings than we did last year when we were basically, it was all but assured that prices were not going to be skyrocketing. They're stabilizing. They're frankly declining now if we look at that 8% drop. So what's going to happen when we get into selling season and we get a ton of listings? I think we know the answer to that. Heading down the coast to the Punta Gorda MSA, basically Greater Charlotte County, another bloodbath here. Sales down 17.1%. But again, guys, I think this is storm related. Median sales price, though, and average sales price, not storm-related. We got a median sales price drop of 5.4% year over year. We are at $349,000 currently in the Charlotte County area for your median sales price, $407 for your average, and these declines just keep coming and coming and coming. I'll show you that in a second. And even though I thought it was not possible, we have another inventory increase 25%, oh my God, 25% inventory increase in Charlotte County here, going from 2,500 homes to 3,233 coming into season this year. I was banging on last season here in Charlotte County that we had 3,000 homes on the market constantly, consistently from February to about June. And now it's even higher than that going to start off the season, and we know we are going to see a flood of listings. So we've crested as far as active listings go, we've gone higher than we even touched last year, which was an extremely high year for inventory. We're even higher than that now. I guess this year, we're in the same year. We're even higher than, and this is the highest point we've seen in probably the past decade here, maybe even longer than that. And we're going into 2025, which is going to be a listing loaded season with some of the highest inventory we've ever seen in the area. 7.7 months of inventory in Charlotte County, guys. It's dead set a buyer's market. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Last year it was 6.7. So this is why I say it's going to be a tough year for Charlotte County. If you're looking for your home prices to appreciate, if you're going to be realistic, people are here buying. I mean, we're selling homes here, but you're going to have to be very realistic this season. That's a 14% increase on the total month supply of inventory year over year. Charlotte County's median sales price not following that same stabilization. You can obviously see the drop here. And depending on your sources, like I pulled from the MLS, it looked like it was about 20% drop on the median sales price over a period of 2 years. And they're just above 400 here at the peak, and they're hovering somewhere in the threes here. So that makes sense to me. Even, I get data from the MLS and data from the Florida Association. So like I've mentioned before, guys, they will differ, but look at the median sales price every single month last year. It was only positive 3 months out of 11, excuse me. I guess technically 12 because this is year over year. We only had 3 months of positive median sales growth year over year. So, it's just the facts. I'm not here to distort reality. I'm not here to hurt anybody, but this is the reality of the situation. If it goes up every month, guys, if it's up every month, I'll tell you that. It's just the reality. So you guys can see here for average sales price, not quite as drastic, but if you look at the peak in 22 and where we are now, it is down. It's obviously down almost $100,000. Because this is 500K, that line's 400K. So going by their numbers, the average sales price over the past 2 years is almost down $100,000. That's 20%, guys. I'm not making these things up. So with the inventory boosting, demand dropping, I just can't see where home prices appreciate over the next 6 months here. Guys, when we look at the inventory for Charlotte County, Florida, I would have a tough time, probably nationwide, showing you a more drastic listing explosion over the previous 2 years. Look at this, 500 listings back in the middle of 2021 has now ballooned to 3,233 in a span of just 2 years, and we're not even in our prime selling season yet. We are getting dangerously close to 2008 levels of active listings in Southwest Florida. If you take a look at Charlotte County, we have 3,233 homes on the market. You would have to go back 15 years to March of 2009 to have that many homes listed. And if we go back just a few more months, in November of 2008, it was 3,500 homes. We are at 32 and change. This is getting very dangerously close to GFC levels of inventory on the market here. And now with the 2 hurricanes back-to-back, all the other challenges we're facing in the region, this number is going to go up. We're coming into a very, very strong listing season. You guys know there's a lot of people that are leaving the area, leaving the state. We're going to get a lot of listings on here after the first of the year. This could easily, by February at the latest, be pushed over 2008 levels of inventory. It's going to be on par with it. I think it's almost a certainty at this point. Unless things change very rapidly, I cannot see how this will not be inevitable, and that is blowing me away. After seeing that, guys, I was going to wait to dive into Northport because I like to segregate it out of Sarasota County just because it's its own little beast there. It's technically Northport, Charlotte. They are dangerously high as well at 985. You would have to go back another 15 years to have inventory levels of single-family homes in Northport this high. You'd have to go back to March of 2009. Now, I don't think they're going to hit 2008 levels of inventory as easy as Charlotte County is because, quite frankly, you'd have to get up to 2,000 homes, and we've got a ways to go to that. But you've got a very, very high inventory count in Northport as well. And why I like to segregate Northport out of Sarasota County, because while Sarasota County is on the decline, according to this year over year, Northport gets it a little worse. So you can see Northport's peak pricing was in July of 2022. They hit a median sales price of $415,000. That is now down to $369,000. They never topped it again. They never came back to this top. Every season, it looks like they're peaking out around 390, 380 is the highs. They can get as low as 350, 358. But right now it's at 369. So I think with all the building that's going on in Northport, all the new development, and the amount of homes that are on the market, which are, by the way, all the new construction is not included in that inventory number. Same thing goes for Charlotte County. It's a little more accurate in Charlotte County, but Northport has so much new building that never hits the MLS. That's going to get skewed. I think they're going to be their own separate beast from Sarasota County as a whole, as you can see. Continuing the trail south, we're down into Cape Coral, Fort Myers, MSA, basically Lee County. Sales also down 8% here. They were not hit as drastically from Milton and Helene, well, from Milton, as the rest of the coast north of them were, but still down 8%. Median sales price down 3.5%, a surprising uptick in average sales price, but again, average can skew that with a few houses. They are up to $566,000 on their average sales price. Median time to contract up 26%. Their total listings up 27.2%, again, which is surprising because they're about to crest 8,000 listings there, guys. Last year, I was shocked to see them go over 7. Well, they're about to go over 8. That's wild. Month supply of inventory, 7 months supply here. Again, strictly buyer's market throughout Lee County as a whole. Again, every neighborhood is going to be a little more specific as you dive into these, as you saw with Northport and Sarasota. So it's important to link up with people that can get you that data and you could know the area. But on a whole, inventory still going up, which is going to lead the prices going down. Their median sales price peaked in 2022, has tapered down slowly until 2024. Average sales price, basically a mixed bag any given month, but still on the same downward trajectory. Inventory of active listings squarely above 2020 pre-pandemic levels. They were at about 5,000 and change. Now, as you know, we're going to crest 8,000. That's going to go up like everywhere else. This listing season in Southwest Florida, potentially even as far north as Tampa, is starting to look like it's going to be an absolute blowout for the amount of homes that are available. Never mind, that's just resale. Never mind the new construction. Because last year, guys, when it was 5.5, you see here, November 2023 was 5.5. I thought that was very elevated and was going to lead to a very competitive selling season for sellers. And now we are, oh man, we're way over that. We're way over that. We're up 27%, and we're starting there. And you guys know why these listings are coming early. It's because of the storms, but it's going to continue, in my opinion, throughout the whole season. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Cape Coral hit 8-9 months of inventory, potentially, on these metrics, on the Florida Realtors metrics, and it was sitting around 5.5 months in 2020. Naples, Immokalee, Marco Island. Now, I get a little sore about this one, guys. I get a little touchy with this place because we found out from a subscriber, from a realtor in Naples, that the Florida Realtors was doing these numbers wrong and inflating their inventory. We're getting 11 months of inventory down there in the Collier County area when it really was about 6, which is still elevated, but we were getting misrepresented data, which I don't like. So I get a little cautious on all this stuff, like how accurate is it? Mostly it seems good. Their sales are down 14% as well. Median sales price up 2.7%. Average sales price up 42.8%. So we had some pretty big homes sell down there this year, this November, is what I'm guessing. It was probably a cluster. I don't have access to that MLS, but it was probably a cluster of really high-end properties dragging that up because that's, or it's an error. I don't know. Or the data's wrong. Like last time. Get about 92% of ask there. Their inventory, according to the Florida Realtors, is up 25% at 3,000 single-family homes. Has been sitting around 2,500. That seems like a big increase to me. Putting them at 8.3 months supply of inventory, the largest month supply of inventory we've seen here. If this is to be believed, if this is accurate, who knows? I believe it is, but you know, they've made mistakes before. So if that's the case, Collier County has the highest month supply of inventory for anywhere in the Southwest Florida region that we looked at. Their median sales price kind of all over the place. I would say mostly stable. Average crazy. It's just everywhere. Like there's so many different diverse types of housing and products down there in Collier. So you can see it's all over the place. All over the place. So their new pending sales are very interesting because they took a massive hit. They were getting about 1,000 sales a month back in 2021. Now they're sitting pretty steadily around under 400. That's a huge drop, and it's been that way for a few years. You can see it started in 2022. It's lower than it was pre-pandemic, it looks like. That's interesting. But their inventory of active listings is not back to pre-pandemic levels yet. Still not back there. It's headed there. You can see the wave is going. It's coming up this way, but still not there. Month supply actually a little higher, so that's why we're getting less pending sales. I can illustrate that for you guys here. You can see pending sales are down. Listings are up. They're not what they were pre-pandemic, but that causes demand or month supply of inventory to rise more so than the actual listings are. So the listings here are not over 2020 levels, but the month supply is. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.